day, football fans. Welcome to another edition of the High School Lowdown, the Vicksburg Post football preview show. This week we're going to be talking about weird playoff scenarios, big games, and a whole lot more, so buckle up and enjoy the ride.
All right, first up is PCA, and we're going to try and explain this in 90 seconds or less, so it might take a little bit longer, but despite being 1-7 and not winning a game since August, PCA is still in the playoff hunt. So Ernest, if you want to take it away.
Yeah, I've kind of become the resident expert on this topic here at the Post. Basically, the MAI's wildcard system for the Class A brackets are set through a PowerPoint system where they average it out over the number of games you've played against MAIS teams, and they come up with an average. Right now, PCA's is 6.714. They're tied with West Memphis Christian, who is also at 6.714. But the advantage PCA has is that will have played one fewer game after Friday night. So if they and West Memphis end up with the same number of PowerPoints, you're dividing by 8 for West Memphis and by 7 for PCA, which when you're doing averages, that's going to work out in PCA's favor. Now there are a couple other scenarios. Carroll Academy could sneak in there if they win their game Friday night, steal a spot. There's a scenario where Deer Creek can win a game and bump both of them out by making it in as a seeded team instead of a wild card, or push somebody else into the wild card. And but basically, Porter's Chapel, they have no control over what they do. Their game does not count toward the standings on Saturday. If you want to read more about all this, check out the Vicksburg Post print edition today. But basically, if West Memphis wins, PCA's out. If they lose, PCA will probably get in. And I think that's the 90-second or less version. We can sit here for an hour and talk about it, but we're getting the wrap it up signal from the director here. So hopefully that explains it. Check out the Vicksburg Post for more info, and we're going to move on. All right, to a simpler topic now. Vicksburg High, they're playing Pearl this week, and we talked about this in the Post yesterday. They're watching monster movies instead of game films this week. Jordan Wright, very scary running back, almost 2,000 yards, 31 touchdowns. Somebody you don't want to have to deal with, but that's what Vicksburg's got to do this week. Yeah,
and Vicksburg hasn't seen a player like this all year, and I don't know if they will again. This guy is just really good, and Vicksburg's defense hasn't been bad. I mean, Vicksburg, they kind of been the bell cow for them this year is the defense with all the turnovers and miscues on offense, but like we just said, I don't think they've ever faced a test like this, a guy that can do it all from the line of scrimmage.
Right, and the guy's named Jordan Wright from Pearl. Had a 400-yard game with 9 touchdowns against a pretty good, which is usually a pretty good Bastrop, Louisiana team. That was his breakout game. He's only been held under 200 yards, I think, 3 times. And out of the last 6 games, which Pearl has won all of them, has not been held under 200 yards. Only been held under 100 once. So he's going to be the load carrier for them, and Vicksburg's got to find a way to stop him.
Got to find a way to stop him and then put points on the board. I mean, Vicksburg, they're on the up and up, with offensive production, especially with Marquez Pickett. Kind of finding his rhythm a little bit, cutting down the interceptions, but stopping Jordan Wright is definitely the key to this game.
And as Coach Marcus Rogers said, though, Pearl, they score a lot of points, but they give up a lot, too. Scoring almost 39, giving up almost 31. So you can score on them, and Vicksburg is probably going to need to do that to have a chance to win.
Absolutely.
And finally, now we come to our game of the week, Clinton at Warren Central. A huge game, not just in the region, not just in Warren County, but in the state. 2 top 10 teams. It's probably going to decide who's going to host a playoff game. Definitely game of the week, maybe game of the year material, at least until Warren Central goes to Starkville next week.
Yeah, this is a huge game for both teams, and one of the interesting things about this matchup is Clinton quarterback Cam Akers. He didn't play last year when Warren Central won 17-7 at Clinton. He's back, and talking to Coach Josh Morgan, he is just a dominant runner. I mean, he's got a good arm, but he's already had almost 700 yards on the ground. He can push the pile. He's not afraid to hit you in the mouth. And that's going to be kind of a little bit of a test for a Warren Central defense that's just been phenomenal this year.
Right, Cam Akers probably going to be a D1 signing in a couple of years somewhere. Warren Central, their defense, as you said, just absolutely phenomenal. And that's kind of going to be the key. There's not very many teams on their schedule that's going to be able to score enough points to beat them.
Right.
You probably got to score at least 20 to beat them, and I think there's probably 3 teams on their regular season schedule that are capable of that, and Clinton is one of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, going back to Warren Central's defense, they've given up 46 points all year. Total, which is absolutely ridiculous. But like you said, if there is going to be a team that can score on them, it's going to be this Clinton Arrows team. So this will be a really huge game. I'm sure Clinton's going to bring a nice-sized crowd to Warren Central, and This one's going to be huge.
Yeah, get there early. Game starts at 7. You're probably going to want to get there by about 6 or 6:30, or you're not going to find a seat. So we'll see you out there. Thanks for tuning into this edition of High School Lowdown. For live scores on Friday night, check us out on Twitter at Vicksburg Post Sports. That's VIXPOST Sports. Check us out online after the game at the Vicksburg Post website. That's vicksburgpost.com, the traditional spelling, VICKSBURG. Or check us out at the newsstand on Saturday morning. That's 50 cents a copy. We'll see you there, and thanks for tuning in.